with the real estate specifically, what do you think was your biggest hurdle beginning? I'm sorry, in the beginning.
To get into it.
To get into it.
I think the biggest hurdle was like once you're in the real estate game, you have, pardon me, a massive list of obligations, man. As an owner, right? You have tax bills, you have upkeep, you have maintenance, you have tenants' needs, you have things that break down. There's so many things that goes into it, right? Where for me, I was like, okay, well, maybe it was just a bad investment deal. Like maybe the first one I bought wasn't the best real estate deal. You get smarter, you buy a better property next time. But then you realize that the problem doesn't really go away. It just becomes a different problem. It surfaces itself as a different problem. So to me, like scaling through real estate felt like a much slower game, much more liabilities because now you're involving people. It's like my money and people as opposed to just my money and my brain in the markets, right? So yeah, I wasn't too interested in keeping that up, to be honest with you, man. Like I wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't my style.
So why still keep the 6 properties that you have?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good question. So any sort of property that I have now is more so I look at emerging markets that actually there exists a decent X return on the investment, right? So to me, right now, the markets that I'm invested into are markets that there's newcomers coming in. There's a lot of immigration coming in. Interest rates, when they drop, these are markets that will blow up, right? And I see a way of making an ROI on it that is worth not having to work for it like trading. Does that make sense? Because you've done your research. You're just letting your money sit there. It's a longer term play and you can accept the risk. Even if it doesn't work out, most of your capital's still in place. So you can pull it out and you can leverage against it and make money on it again. Like it's no big deal. But it's not like 50 properties. It's not 100 properties. You know what I mean? It's 6 of them, right? So it's manageable. It's not a big pain in my ass, right? It's there. It's on the sidelines. It's one of the many things that I do, right? But it's not the entirety of it.
Because it's crazy that you had that kind of experience, because many people who say they own a business and say they're selling cars and so on, they get that money for their first property, their second property, third property. They're thinking like, all right, forget the business that I was in. Yeah. I'm going to eventually, my long-term play is property. Right. And then they're going to move up. Where your experience was like you made that money through stock. Yeah. You got into property, to real estate, which is typically the very long, like the end game, right? The end result for many people. Yeah. Then you're like, nah, I'm gonna go back to what I like.
Yeah, I like liquidity. I think that's the issue. Right?
I mean, real estate's great for like taxes too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it is. There is a game to it, which is why I think like once you have a lot of money, you should be a part of it. I just don't think. To me, it's not the scale game that I'm interested in.
You fell in love with the you fell in love with the stock game. You didn't fall in love that much with the real estate game.
No. To me, people are complicated. And if you're going to have 200 units, and that's a lot of problems, man. That's a lot of problems that could land on your shoulder. And you have to it's like, it becomes a business within itself that you have to have a management of this. It becomes a whole sort of like an archetype of a setup that you have to be interested in running. It becomes a real estate business. And I'm just not interested in that. I like having my own property, my sort of vacation property. That's the things that I enjoy for the terms of toys. And then the rest is just going to be part of a much bigger investment play that some of it sits in real estate, long term.
Yeah. I mean, so like, I know that you live out in Canada.
Yeah.
Now, the majority of the properties that you own, would you say like they're stuck in Canada?
Yeah, pretty much in Canada, man.
Because I was going to ask you, which states are you invested in?
Yeah.
But that was like, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Right? So
I mean, in the beginning, once you have an overflow, the interest was worldwide. Like the real estate interest for me was worldwide. Like we're looking at markets like Dubai and stuff like that too. But once I realized that, no, I want my money closer to home, close to what I'm doing, I just kept it local to where I'm at.